Now, let us prepare our hearts and minds for a time of meditation.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love.
If you've not done so already, I invite you to be settled into this beautiful space, remembering that we are here to love and serve and remember. And for this time of remembrance, we slip into this beautiful sacred space of meditation, where we have the gift of letting go of everything that awaits us and be in the present moment here and now. So I invite you to feel yourself supported by your seat, to feel yourself attentive and yet relaxed into this space, and simply breathe. Each breath of life that breathes us. That there are moments that we can intentionally think about the breath. But in every other moment, we are breathed by God. We are breathed by love. And so as we take a breath in together, being filled with light and life and possibility, we then release any heaviness that we have, any fear that we have. And we trust and we know that God is here and all is well. And with each and every still breath, we allow ourselves to, and our body to find its own rhythm. Feeling your heartbeat, feeling the presence and the power of the divine. I invite us to think of the word divine, what that means, what that looks like. You think of the Divine Mother here on Mother's Day, an energy that is nurturing, that is sustaining, that enfolds us. Take just a moment to think of what that means to you. What does divine mean? And allow yourself to breathe in that response, whatever it may be. And if you've received a word or a sense or a feeling, I invite you to take that a little bit deeper within. As we go into a sweet spaciousness we call the silence, where we allow everything else to fall away and truth to arise and emerge and reveal what it wants to reveal. So, in this divine presence, we rest now in this sacred space that we call the silence, in the silence now. We are the light and the life and the love of God in expression. We are the peace and the hope and the abundance of the divine. And anytime we need be reminded of that, we return to that space of simply breathing, of surrendering in order that we may receive. I invite you to take 3 more slow and deep and intentional breaths. One more. feeling yourself alive and well and here. We begin to turn our attention back to our environment. For me, I'm hearing the birds chirping outside, whatever that sound may be for you, whatever that presence may be for you. Feeling yourself reconnected again to the ground, to the seat which supports you. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and behold the beloved face of God that is each and every one of us. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you for watching over me all of the sleepless nights you lie awake. Thank you for knowing when to hold me close and when to let me go. Thank you for every stepping stone and for the path that always leads me home. I thank you for the time you took to see the heart inside of me. You gave me the roots to start this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you believed in me. There's no power like it on the earth, no treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. Thank you for every sunlit day that fills the corners of my memories. Thank you for every selfless, unsung deed I know you did for me. Thank you for giving me the choice to search my soul till I could find my voice. And I thank you for teaching me to be strong enough to bend. You gave me the roots to start this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you believed in me. There's no power like it on the earth, no treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. The gift of a mother's love.
Thank you, David Trolley. I wanted to start out my talk this morning by reading a Mother's Day prayer. This was written by Doreen Valiente, and it became a poem by Starhawk. So this is a Mother's Day prayer. Today we acknowledge the wide continuum of mothering. To those who gave birth this year to their first child, we celebrate you. To those who lost a child this year, we mourn with you. To those who are in the trenches with little ones every day and wear the badge of food stains, we appreciate you. To those who experienced loss through miscarriage, failed adoptions, or runaway, we mourn with you. To those who walk the hard path of infertility, fraught with pokes, prods, tears, and disappointment, we walk with you. Forgive us when we say foolish things. We don't mean to make this harder than it is. To those who are foster moms, mentor moms, and spiritual moms, we need you. To those who have warm and close relationships with your children, we celebrate you. To those who have disappointment, heartache, and distance with your children, we sit with you. To those who lost their mothers this year, we grieve with you. To those who lived through driving tests, medical tests, and the overall testing of motherhood, we are better for having you in our midst. To those who are single and longing to be married and mothering your own children, we stand in possibility with you. To those who step parent, we walk with you on these complex paths. To those who envisioned lavishing love on grandchildren, yet that dream is not to be, we grieve with you. To those who have emptier nests in the upcoming year, we grieve and rejoice with you. To those who place children up for adoption, we commend you for your selflessness and remembering how you hold that child in your heart. And to those who are pregnant with new life, both expected and surprising, we anticipate you. This Mother's Day, we walk with you. Mothering is not for the faint of heart, and we have real warriors in our midst. We remember you. I love that poem because it encompasses all of us, all different stories, all of our own journey. Because Mother's Day can bring about beautiful memories for some and painful memories for some. And that may change even from year to year. So I just want to acknowledge every single one on here. Thank you for being who you are and how you shine. And Mother's Day touches something deep within all of us, not just our relationship with motherhood, but our relationship with creation itself. And I call today's message the womb of creation. And with that, I want to begin with the idea that creation isn't just something that happened once upon a time, in a distant cosmic past here, but creation is something that is happening right now. That life is still creating and still unfolding and still becoming, as are we, right? The flowers know this, the oceans know this, your soul knows this as well, that there is something within you that is still growing. And so when we use the phrase divine mother, we're not talking about about gender in a human sense. What we're speaking to is the sacred quality of presence, of the nurturing force of life itself. And that is the very energy that births and sustains and nourishes and heals and transforms. There's this sweet energy behind all of it, yet one that is powerful. And this morning I was spending time in the book of Genesis and just reading through the first chapter, where we hear in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and light that forms day and night and water and land and sky and so on, 31 quick verses roll by, and then we're on to chapter 2 and moving on into something else. There is a lot that takes place within that space there, but the creation didn't begin with force, but it began with a form of sacred tending, of presence. And the universe is still giving birth. So sometimes we imagine that creation is finished. Like if I look at that chapter, I go, well, God's got it all taken care of. It's done. It's like, no, but if we look around us, seasons still happen, seeds still split open, and ideas emerge. We still heal, right? Love still surprises us. And occasionally, if you're anything like me, we're reinventing yourself at 2 a.m. after watching one inspirational video and suddenly believe that, we can start an off-grid farm or launch a new business in a week or become emotionally mature by Tuesday, which is absolutely not not the case at all for me. Maybe Wednesday though. We'll give it an extra day, see what happens. But creation is something that is ongoing. And what our Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore taught us was that divine mind is always expressing itself in new ways. That life itself isn't static, but it's generative. And the beautiful part about that is that we are not separate from creative flow. We're expressions of it. We're here to create. And when I say create, what often comes to mind immediately for people is art. And it's like, well, I'm not artistic, but creation is so much bigger than that. We create conversations and relationships and environments and energy and meaning. And every day we are participating in the creation process through our consciousness. I mean, that is the beauty of new thought. It's choosing to have a new thought, thus continuing that journey of creation, of possibility. We're recreating or creating and recreating through our thoughts and through our choices. And whatever it is that we nurture, that's what emerges. So it's important for us to be mindful of what it is that's in our consciousness and what it is that we are bringing our attention to, because that is what is going to grow. Some people create peace simply by walking in a room. Can you think of somebody who does that? All of us are helping shape life in some way. And we all have our own gifts. I am not going to minister the way Reverend Richard Carlini does. I'm not going to do art like Steve Ciccato or pray like Marcia or perform music like David Trolley. All of us, we each have our own unique expressions. And I think it's important to ask the question, what is it we are giving birth to? What am I? What are you? What are we giving birth to? Because a womb is that space of becoming. It is this hidden transformational place. And spiritually speaking, we all carry inner womb spaces. These are places where our dreams are forming, where healing is unfolding, where wisdom is maturing. But here's what I think we often forget is that growth inside the womb is first invisible. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean that transformation is not happening. I've talked before about my challenge with keeping plants alive, and it's because I'll start to plant them and water them and everything, but then I can't see anything happening. So I want to go digging within and see, well, okay, is it okay? It needs a little more time, put it. And when you're in that process of interrupting life doing what it is designed to do, There may be setbacks, there may be challenges, but can we trust, can we step back that divine design knows exactly what it's doing and it does not require us to intervene? We may be needed to step in and help nurture, but the creativity of life cultivates itself. And so some of you may be in a season where life feels quiet, but quiet doesn't necessarily mean empty. You know, spring itself is often doing its deepest work in unseen ways. And when I think of if I think of some people like Olympic athletes, for example, I think of Olympic athletes, Buddhist monks, they didn't become these sensational athletes overnight. The monks didn't just learn to be as grounded and as centered as the teachings practice overnight, right? So we can look, I hope that we look back on our lives and we have compassion for that. I remember hearing that phrase, the popular quote, the lessons are in the journey and not the destination. And I thought, yeah, I'm more a destination kind of person. I just want to get there. I'll be in the express lane passing all the people who are in just enjoying the journey here. And yet there's growth and there's more to be revealed in all of that, in the progress of it. And one of the most healing spiritual shifts I think that we can make is that when we move into seeing God, um, we move from seeing God as an entity or a being that is some kind of distant authority. We experience God as a nurturing presence, that divine mothering presence that doesn't shame us into growth, but it grows us patiently. It doesn't look at a flower and scream for it to open, but it creates the conditions for it to be able to blossom. And that is true of us as well, too. That we are planted, we were made for times as these, as was a Sunday talk given recently. That we are here and can trust and know that the universe has a plan for us. And some of us grew up believing that faith meant that we had to perform harder, to pray harder, to fix ourselves faster, whatever that may be. But nature itself teaches us a different rhythm, and that is of life unfolding. You know, the trees don't apologize for taking time to grow rings, do they? And perhaps your soul doesn't need more force. Perhaps what it really needs is more gentleness and more trust and more room to unfold naturally. And so the divine mothering presence and process really isn't passive. It's a creative love in motion. And when we choose to align with that, that is when we begin to live differently. That is when we begin to become more passionate and more patient and grounded and open to possibility. And not because life suddenly becomes more easy, but because we stop fighting the flow of becoming. Right? We're in this process of surrendering and trusting that life is not against us, but that life is growing us, even now. A woman once shared after years of struggling through a painful season, she stood one spring morning looking out at the garden she had neglected all winter. And to her surprise, the flowers had bloomed anyway. And not because she forced or controlled them, but because life itself carried an instinct toward growth. And so she looked out and saw this and said quietly to herself, I realized healing was happening in me the same way. That is the Divine Mother's presence, always nurturing life forward. I have been getting a lot of messages recently around surrender, My goodness, that is like saying, okay, what is it I want to pray for? And that word patience comes up, and you think, no, anything other than that, right? But that message of surrender, of trust and know and have faith that these things will turn out, that I don't have to have things figured out. That is the nurturing that I am receiving right now through my time in prayer and meditation and seeking counsel. And it can be so easy for me to just want to jump to that conclusion, that end again, not wait for, the lessons in the journey. I just want to get to the destination. And that is not how life works. It's how life works according to Jen Dickey, but it is not how life is designed to work. And so I can want that fast, that instant gratification, the least painful path. But what is being asked of me is to stay curious. And so that's what I want to ask all of us today is, what are you birthing? Think about that holy question, that what is trying to be born in you and through you? Perhaps that is a new beginning of some sort. It could be an opportunity for forgiveness of something that has been deeply rooted for quite some time. Maybe it's even forgiveness toward yourself. They call that grace and compassion. Maybe there's a time of creativity where there is some stirring in you of something that wants to emerge. You could be birthing courage in your life or rest. I think we can easily skate over the importance of rest, of hitting the pause button, of taking a break. And some people are very easy to just shut off and say, nope, I'm going to go do that. And not all of us are. So can we give ourselves that gift of rest? Maybe we're birthing joy or authenticity or companionship. So if you are in a space of feeling maybe that there is an emptiness, that there is an unknown that is taking place for you, what if that longingness you feel isn't emptiness, but it's emergence, right? What if life itself is preparing something beautiful within you? That just makes my heart happy because I look at every single face on this screen. And I love and adore each and every one of you. And each and every one of you is a unique, unrepeatable expression of the divine. There is something beautiful about you and something beautiful that is emerging in you. So, my friends, creation is not over. It's still beginning. It's still happening. The womb of creation is still alive within the universe and each and every one of us. That same presence that birthed the stars and the springtime and the fall also breathes that same possibility into you, right? I love saying right, 'cause right to you, amen? Yes, absolutely. So may we may we take time to trust the unseen growth and know that there is a mighty work that is being taken place within our lives, within that person and their situation, whatever it is that they are going through, what is happening in our country, what is happening in our world. May we know that there is unseen growth taking place, and may we trust that it is divinely good as God is. I pray that each of us may honor our sacred timing of becoming. And remember that you are not separate from that divine love, but you are an expression of it. So, and may you live with love and love in action. And I invite you this Mother's Day and always to go forth and be the love and the light that you already are. so it is.